Welcome to Frame Dropped. While everyone else is talking about Red Dead Redemption 2, we have been playing the predecessor to its predecessor, Red Dead Revolver. Is it still as good as we thought it was in 2004? And can it stick up to newer Rockstar adventures? That's what we will try to answer today. In May 2004, Rockstar Games released the first game in their Red Dead franchise, Red Dead Revolver. While many ideas that have been used in the newer Red Dead games, such as the Deadeye system, originated in Red Dead Revolver, the overall gameplay is strikingly different to Red Dead Redemption, that came out 6 years later. You can walk around the town for a bit, but there's really not much to see there and all of the levels are linear. The linearity per se doesn't feel dated. Many games today are still linear and brilliant, so that's not a problem. But Red Dead Revolver is a shooter first and not much else second. That's why the levels feel more like shooting galleries than anything else. But it can still be a lot of fun to simply shoot some bandits in the face and feel like a cowboy. So this wouldn't be half bad if the controls would have aged well, but they have not. Moving, aiming, climbing and shooting feel especially clunky, and yeah, those are basically the only things that you have to do. There are duels, very similar to Red Dead Redemption's duels in this game. They are not particularly challenging if you have less than 3 opponents, but they change the gameplay up a little bit and can be quite fun. Pretty much all the levels feel the same. You run from A to B and shoot some bad guys. At the end you often get kind of a boss fight, but you don't have to think of clever tricks to defeat the enemies and it pretty much feels all the same. But the good thing is that there is a lot of variation in the environments and I still like them. I enjoyed the canyon and the farm level, and oh my fucking god, I fucking hate the fucking train mission. While trying to shoot a ridiculous amount of enemies, you have to get to the front of the train, all while dodging and jumping over obstacles, which can be pretty impossible due to the controls. And then you fall off the train and have to start from the beginning. Oh, and when you finally reach your goal, you need to protect the train conductor from even more enemies for 3 minutes. What I do still like, however, is the progression system. Every enemy drops its bounty value when killed, and you can spend your cash on new weapons, weapon upgrades and other health or data related upgrades. Weapon degradation is something that I mostly don't like at all, in any game. In this case it's not too bad. You have to spend a couple of dollars after a few missions in order to repair a weapon, but it doesn't really make sense. If you forgot, yes, there is a story in this game, but maybe you don't exactly remember because it isn't really memorable and just serves to set up the missions. One thing you might have also forgot is how goofy and cartoony the overall story and setting actually is. And the dialogue is sometimes so cringy that it's almost good again.
Who is up for some barbecue?
But the 5 different characters that you control still feel different enough to make you want to play at least a bit with every one of them. Red Dead Revolver isn't a bad game. It's fairly polished and it can be fun. It also has an awesome western soundtrack, by the way, but it just hasn't aged well. And with the goofy but not very interesting story and the linear levels that feel out of context and more like an arcade shooting gallery, there isn't much content there, even if you take into account that this is a PS2 game. It doesn't feel like a fully realized title and definitely not like the epic adventures that we nowadays expect Rockstar games to deliver. So if you can get it for cheap and really want to play it, hey, give it a try, nobody stops you and the game can be fun. But if you think about the fact that the story in the Red Dead series isn't tightly connected, so you don't need to play one game in order to understand another, you can easily skip Red Dead Revolver even if you love Red Dead Redemption. You can keep it on your list and draw it out when there's nothing else to play. What do you think about Red Dead Revolver? Have you played it recently and agree that it hasn't aged well? Or do you like the game? Tell us in the comments below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you next time!